and welcome back. Today we are talking about what you need to do before you consider doing a cleanse. Now, I hope you watched yesterday's video because today this is video 4 in a 5-part series. Yesterday's video we did some EFT and NLP with Lynette. It was really powerful, so great to watch somebody's entire demeanor change as we go in and help neutralize painful memories. It can really affect your entire personality and change the way that you operate going forward. So today we are on the B in our ABCs. We talked about activating in the first 3 videos. It's so important that we devoted 60% of this series to talking about activating. And today we are talking about how to help build our bodies. So I want to tell you a little story. Growing up, we had Sunday morning coffee cake, homemade. My sister loved to make it. We'd have it at least once or twice a month. But inevitably, when it came time to make our Sunday morning coffee cake, we were typically out of something. We had some really great friends that lived just down the street, a 2-minute walk away. We grew up outside of city limits in the country. And our closest neighbors, they were our best friends. So we would go over on a Sunday morning, usually about 8 a.m., because we're trying to make our coffee cake before we need to leave to go to church, and knock on their door and say, we need a cup of sugar. Can we please have a cup of sugar or a cube of margarine? Whatever it was. Yeah, we grew up with margarine. Yuck, thinking about that now. But so it was typically, butter, margarine, sugar. We were always out of something. And we had such wonderful neighbors that were more than happy to oblige us. It was funny because one morning, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, knocking on the door, can we get a cup of sugar? And the husband was like, yeah, I'll get it for you. Just shh, you gotta be really quiet. I just helped my wife deliver her 5th baby. We're like, what? Yeah, so we had shown up literally just minutes after she had given birth at home. Pretty crazy. But the whole point of that story is to show that we couldn't make our coffee cake if we were missing certain ingredients. Sure, there's things like cinnamon, maybe you could leave it out and it, I don't know, I feel like that's still really important. But if you don't have sugar to make a cake, it's not going to taste right. If you don't have butter or a fat to put in there, it's not gonna be delicious and fluffy the way that we want it to be. In the same way, if something is broken at your house, you actually have to, if you don't own the tools, you have to go buy the tools and the materials to fix what was broken. If you're remodeling your house, if you want to switch things out, you have to go and actually buy the materials that you need. There's typically, lumber and hardware and tools for any remodeling job. We don't expect to be able to repair things around our house with just our bare hands, nothing else. In the same way, if the body isn't working correctly, we have to work on that repair first, because typically something is incomplete or is broken when things aren't working right. Now, our body is constantly trying to repair itself. We're in a constant state of repairing and rebuilding. This is why we might run into some issues where our body isn't making things correctly. For instance, it is a common thing for us to go and to get our thyroid hormones checked. Now, hormones is just a word for chemical messengers. That's where we have different glands in our body that produce these little messengers. Think about the paper boy back in the day, the Pony Express. It's making these little Pony Express people, and it's like, here's a message, send it off, deliver it there so they know what they're doing. But if we don't have that letter, that paper to give to the Pony Express, that little message that needs to go, if we don't actually have the materials that it takes to make that, we're going to be deficient. So if your body isn't producing a certain hormone that it should be, it's because it doesn't have the materials. If your thyroid's not producing hormones, supply it with the materials. If your food isn't digesting correctly, and that might manifest itself in, we have some acid reflux or some heartburn or just some abdominal pain, gas, or bloating after eating, our body needs some enzymes. It doesn't have the materials that it needs to process and digest that food. And undigested food is a huge toxin in the body. If we have wounds that aren't healing correctly, it's because, or fast, if wounds are healing super slow, it's because the body does not have the materials to do that repair. Body tissues require nutrients. If your hair and your nails aren't growing, it's because your body doesn't have the nutrients. If wounds aren't repairing, your body doesn't have the nutrients. If joints are breaking down, your body does not have the nutrients because it is always trying to repair and to replace broken cells. In the same way, our liver cannot perform its function of detoxing if it doesn't have all of the nutrients that it needs to perform its functions. So many people jump right to the cleansing stage. Oh, I just went on vacation, I need to start a cleanse. Or I'm gonna start a weight loss program, I should do a cleanse first. And I'm all for cleansing. Cleansing should be a lifelong process. It's not something that we should do. We shouldn't do a cleanse. We should always be working on cleansing. However, if our pathways aren't open and our body does not have the nutrients that it needs to perform those cleansing functions, then you're just wasting your money. The liver, which is one of our biggest organs that helps with detoxification, it does such an important job of filtering out these wastes and toxins in our body. It doesn't run off of fast food any more than your automobile can. It requires very specific nutrients, and our body requires a vast array of nutrients. If we are missing just one or two of these vital nutrients that we need, then something in the body will not be working correctly. That's why it is so important to start the building and repair process before we clean the house. If you're doing a kitchen remodel, it does you no good to just clean and clean and clean and clean if you're not actually making a mess and helping to replace and repair what it is that you're trying to change or fix. So we can't start with cleansing. We need to make sure that number one, our pathways are open in order for things to be moving through the body correctly and out of the body correctly. We need to help raise our energetic frequency. This helps to make sure that the body is operating at a fast enough pace that it is light and energetic, and then we will have more energy. And we need to first supply materials and help the body catch up with the processes and projects it already has going. And then we can talk about cleansing. So I look forward to discussing cleansing with you in this last video. How to do a cleanse, how to keep cleansing as a part of your everyday process. And if you would like to work with me or one of my health coaches, you can check out our program at NHWarriors.com. Thank you so much for listening or watching, and have a blessed day.